Hello. Welcome to Just a Thought, and I'm your host, Jeff Spates. I'm extremely humbled and thankful for the opportunity to speak to you today. And this is really a full circle life moment for me because I never expected that I would be on the radio in my hometown. So when I began having conversations with the executives over at 97.3 FM, I realized that their vision aligned with mine, and I jumped at the chance to offer this show, Just a Thought, to the audience. I'm extremely thankful and grateful for all of you for putting up with me on this lovely November Sunday morning, the first Sunday of November. We're going to merge into gospel music, positive energy, and all the spiritual activities that fill your cup. And if it's done right, your spiritual cup may runneth over. That's today. That's on Sunday. The real question is, how full is that cup going to be this time tomorrow? Or how full will that cup be on Wednesday afternoon? How full will your cup be when you have to argue with a family member or a spouse? How full is that cup when you are dealing with nonsense on the job? How full is that cup when you're dealing with stressful situations, family illnesses, money problems, relationship problems? This show is designed to talk about all of that. So while your cup may be filled by going to church today or hearing the word or reading the word or by the music that's been played on this episode or on this station today, we're here to help keep that cup from going empty throughout the course of the week by talking about the hard stuff, the stuff we like to usually sweep under the rug, because after all, those are the things that empty our cup. But before we get into today's topic, I want to throw a shout out to a few supporters of Just a Thought and thank them for listening. Shout out goes to the 97.3 family, 97.3 FM. Thank you for listening to me and listening to this show. And I am hopeful that you'll get something out of this. I want to throw a shout out to DJ Amplifier, my brother. He's one of the coldest DJs here in West Michigan. I want to throw a shout out to my sons, Josh, Justin, and Jonah, for always just being who you are. Shout out goes to my man DJ 616. He's a cutting edge performer doing his thing out in LA and Vegas. Thanks for tuning in out on the West Coast. I want to thank all my new friends that I have met recently in Detroit, mainly Tucker and Frenchie from Jalen Rose Academy, Shirley and Melissa from the PR department in Detroit, and especially Wanda B from the D for all of your guidance, airport pickups, drop-offs, and all of your encouraging words. Would be remiss if I didn't mention my Atlanta people. Kamani and Bree will be talking soon. Thanks for listening to Mr. and Mrs. Burt. Appreciate your undying support. My man Ro at Redwood Barbecue, J-Rob and Shanice at Made on Time Cleaning. And last but certainly not least, Miss Hector and her group with Fixed Learning. Thanks for all of your support. As I mentioned earlier, this is a full circle moment for me. I am a Grand Rapids guy, born in Muskegon, but raised in Grand Rapids. Everything I have ever learned started in this town. I was educated here, made friends here, raised a family here. And Grand Rapids has always been my home. I moved away from Grand Rapids back in 2016, and I currently live in Atlanta. And it's amazing how, what you learn or what I learned in Grand Rapids has really propelled my career, my coaching business, my motivational business and commercial business to a whole nother level, because here in Grand Rapids is where all of the morals and work ethics and things that were engraved in me started. So I tell people all the time, people from this town have a tough mentality, we have a different mentality. And I always say that if you can make it in Grand Rapids, you can make it anywhere. So it is very humbling to be able to be here with you today. I'm so glad that you're tuning in, though. You know, we all come to the station for that uplifting gospel music that puts us in the right mindset to tackle life's challenges. It's that music that creates hope and reminds us we're never alone, especially when we choose to accept God's love and God's teachings. Now, I know we all strive to be in a good place spiritually, but let's be real. Life throws us curveballs out of nowhere that tries to steal our peace. And that's what we're going to dive into today. Those people who try to stand in our way. Those people who try to hate on us or question our moves. Those challenging situations that make us feel less than spiritual, less than Christian. We've all been there, right? So we get tested every day. At work, at home, by family, so-called friends, by the haters, maybe even by the ones we love. But here's the thing. We always have a choice in how we handle situations. We can respond professionally, we can respond with poise, we can respond with grace, hoping not to escalate the situation. Or we can react with aggression. We can get loud, we can use foul language, and in some cases, violence may even surface. We've got the good sense to figure out which approach is best. But do we have the maturity to navigate tough situations in a way that gets us the results we want? Or do we create more drama and damage? Now, in today's society, drama is what people seem to be more attracted to. Me, myself, I would rather face a situation more calmly and with more poise and with more maturity. Because my grandmother always used to tell me you can catch more bees with honey rather than catching them with vinegar. So it's extremely important. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So you can get better results with kindness, kill them with kindness, than being aggressive or being disrespectful. But that disrespectful piece seems to be the way that this world wants to move. But in order to really navigate the challenges, we really need to make a plan. While you don't know what is going to happen in the future, you can always plan ahead. It's better to kind of have a plan in place than to go into a situation blind. Another thing we have to recognize is that when we're facing challenging situations, we have to come to the realization and know that we are not alone. Every person in this world has hit their low point. You might be at your low point right now, but that doesn't mean that has to be the case later today or even tomorrow or down the road. As a motivational speaker, one of the challenges that I face is, I write these speeches, I talk to groups, and I always have to be in this positive mindset, but I'm human as well. And if you had to talk to me last Thursday, you wouldn't have thought that I was anybody's motivational speaker because I was low. The world was beating me down. The world was making me feel like horrible. And so no one is exempt from dealing with the challenges in life. It hit me just like everybody else. And so the one challenging thing that I always ask myself is, how can I be a motivational speaker when I'm not motivated internally myself? And I can tell you, it hits everyone at some point or another. It even hits me. But just know that when you're at your lowest, you're not the only one that has been in that place. And one of the things that I will encourage you to do is to try to find a way to seek some kind of help. Don't be too prideful to seek help from a family member, from a friend, from your pastor or your minister, maybe even your spouse. And Worst case scenario, go talk to a therapist. It is now more accepted to seek professional help when it comes to our mental health. And as a black man and being raised in a black family and a black community, it was always kind of viewed as taboo to seek out that help. But I'm encouraging you now, if you truly want to be the best version of yourself, if you truly want to be the person that you're destined to be, you might want to look into some therapy. There's all kinds of resources online that can help you navigate with the things that are holding you back and keeping you down and causing you some depression. Another thing you have to do is feel your feelings. Be honest about those feelings. If you're mad or frustrated or disappointed or hurt about a situation, own those feelings. Embrace those feelings and internalize them and think them through. Don't just push them off to the side, because that's what we have the tendency of doing. We push feelings aside, we push things aside, I'm not going to worry about it. But later on, if we don't handle the things that bother us, they're going to end up surfacing back later on. So we might as well just nip it in the bud as soon as we can. Another thing we need to look at is accepting support. Now, with our circle of people that we have around us, maybe we are always the person that's giving out support to others and very rarely get it back in return. If you find that you are in that situation, and if you are that type of person where you're always giving but no one ever gives back to you, especially on the same level that you give, seek outside support. There's always someone that can help you navigate through some difficult situations. And don't forget that helping others is one of the things that you can do to help with challenges in life. You know, someone may be going through a hard time. You might want to be a listening ear. Somebody may need to borrow a couple of dollars. As much as I don't really like to loan out money to people because you know they're not going to pay it back. Yeah, you can do that too. You can be a helpful hand to somebody, cook a meal, give them a ride, wash some clothes, babysit a kid. There's all kinds of things that you can do to help others. And when you help others, you're really helping yourself because it's making you feel good about yourself as an individual. Another thing that we have to do is learn to think big. Learn to believe in yourself. And learn to invest in yourself. If you don't learn anything else or hear anything else that I say in this episode or future episodes, you deserve to have the very best life possible. You deserve to have it, and you can make it happen. And if you don't have any idea how to do it, we're going to talk you through this over the course of these next few episodes, because you know what? Life is crazy. We vote this coming week, and depending on who wins the election, our world as we know it is going to be turned upside down in one way or another. I'm not here to talk about the candidates or what they believe in. We all watch the news and we all see what has been said. I encourage everyone that's listening, though, after this election, do everything that you can do to invest in yourself and figure out a way how to make your life better, whatever that looks like. Your journey isn't my journey. What you may want to accomplish, what you may want to do, may not align with what I want to do, but you have the ability and the capability of doing that. And if you don't know how to, reach out to me. I'm going to leave you my contact information. I do counseling, I do coaching, and I love to have a conversation with anybody that is looking to step outside the box and create that different life for themselves. Last but not least, you got to go through life with a positive mindset. I realize that everything that we're dealing with and a lot of things we'll come in contact with, there's negativity all around us. Negativity at home, at work, on the job, with family members, with friends, you got the haters. But if you can find the strength to turn lemon into lemonade, I promise you that it's going to help propel your life to a better place. We're going to take a break here for a couple minutes and pay some bills. We'll be right back after these messages.
97.3 FM is sponsored by Gun Lake Casino.
You ever walk into a place and just know? It's the $210,000 Fall Fortunes at Gun Lake Casino. November 2nd, 16th, and 30th. One winner each night takes home $40,000 in cash and free play guaranteed. Right time, right place, right around the corner. GLC, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Gun Lake Casino. Come to play. Must be 21 or older. Gamble responsibly. See Rewards Center for details.
Thank you, Gun Lake Casino.
The Heat 97.3 FM is sponsored by Gerald R. Ford International Airport. Switch into airport mode with their expanded concourse, featuring new concessions, amenities, and of course, 30-plus nonstop routes. Learn more at flyford.org.
Here we go. It's time. Time to vote. Your health care is on the ballot. Your right to vote. Abortion rights. It's all on the ballot. So if you want an economy that works for all of us, if you want to lower the cost of living, if you want a president that puts us first, then you have to vote. Go to iwillvote.com to find your voting place and go vote. Stand up for your community. Protect your rights. Bring someone along with you. Our vote is how we make change. Right here at home, every vote counts. You have the power. Don't give the power away. Voting is quick and easy. Vote early. Vote today. Kamala Harris for president. A new way forward. Kamala Harris for the people.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
And welcome back to Just a Thought. I'm your host, Jeff Spates. And today we're talking about resilience. We're talking about just getting back on point as an individual. Another thing that we want to kind of try to figure out how to do is navigate the crazy. That's what this show is all about, folks. Ripping off the Band-Aid and finding ways to navigate this crazy world and still be a good person. Now, that part of it is easier said than done, right? With all the craziness going on, it's our mission to live a good life, to treat people right, to follow the golden rule. We want to have healthy relationships with people who want to see us win. A good life doesn't mean having all the material things. After all, what's the point of a big house or a fancy car or a bunch of money if you don't have anyone to share it with? A good life means having a purpose and knowing what you're passionate about and moving in the direction that you want. If that's not you right now, don't worry. Hopefully this show will point you in the right direction. But in order to get or to go in that right direction, the first thing you got to do is learn to be true to yourself. Now, in this age that we live in, it's easy to get caught up in the comparison traps and lose your sense of individuality sometimes. Authenticity in today's world may seem like a risky move, especially when social media and other shaping forces are in our lives, such as parents, teachers, peers, may have told us to fit in and just to conform in order to feel a connection. As a result, we often hide our true selves due to the fear of rejection and judgment from others. So what I say in terms of being true to yourself, align yourself with people that match what you're trying to do, that matches how you're trying to live. Because, so many times in life, as we get older, how many relationships or how many people have we dealt with that we wasted time with because we weren't true with ourselves? If there's something that you believe in with 10 toes down and you're with a group of people who don't necessarily believe in that same philosophy, then it's probably a good idea to do something different and move in a different direction, because ultimately they're holding you back from being the best person that you can be. Another thing that we need to kind of take a look at is we got to confront challenges. Life has a way of presenting us consistently with challenges that will test us emotionally, be it in the form of an injury or illness. It could be a loss of a family member, grief, or an uncertain future. Accepting this can allow us to be fully present and relish the gifts we have in our lives at this very moment, as we live each day with renewed appreciation and joy and lasting confidence in our own capabilities. When something is staring you in the face, when you're dealing with a challenging situation, we have the tendency to want to kind of push it aside and hope that it goes away. But the longer we ignore a problem, chances are the problem is going to get larger and it's going to get worse. So I encourage you to just knock it out the box right off the top, get it out the way, and you can have a chance to heal and move on a lot quicker if you take that approach. Another thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is distinguish thoughts from facts. Most of us are guilty of spending too much time in our heads or being preoccupied with our thoughts. In other words, overthinking. According to researchers, humans are hardwired for negativity. We thrive on hearing negativity. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody and they love to hear the downfall of others? They love to hear the bad stories, the breakup stories, or if a person lost a job. We as humans kind of get off and we get excited about negativity, which means that it's natural for most of us to feel negative outcomes or emotions with a greater intensity than a positive emotion or feeling. As a result of that, we end up navigating life with overthinking situations, which can affect our mental health and which can eventually affect our stress levels, which ultimately can affect our health. So, are you facing anxiety? Are you taking medication for anxiety? Do you have high blood pressure? Are you a high stress person? When we get in our heads too much, it creates more and more physical ailments in our lives. And this happens as we get older. If we don't get this thing in check and get our minds right, it ultimately affects our bodies. And we want to do everything in our power to keep that from happening. Another thing that we need to kind of focus on is changing our perspective when it comes to life. Instead of living in denial or in our comfort zone, we can gradually tune our minds to look at adversities as learning opportunities and face them head on when they present themselves. Well, whenever we're faced with a challenge, the challenge really isn't the problem, but it's really an opportunity for us to learn. This is an opportunity for us to grow and to get better. So you say, well, how do you learn and grow and get better facing adversity? Well, first of all, when you go through something tough, the next time that tough situation happens, or any tough situation happens, it teaches you how to deal with it emotionally. It teaches you how to deal with it mentally. In some cases, it teaches you how to deal with it spiritually. Sometimes it'll teach you how to deal with it financially. So change your perspective and open and broaden up your horizons. So get out of that comfort zone. Stepping back to get a better perspective, taking some time to clear your mind, and approaching the situation without rushing will enable you to gain newer insights. The thing is, one of the problems that I had in my 20s and 30s is that whenever I faced a challenge, I tend to kind of not think it through and just react. And what I have found is when I was in a reactionary state of mind, what ended up happening is I didn't get the result that I wanted, or it took longer for me to get the result that I wanted. But when I decided to sit back, reflect, think, form a plan, things tended to work out better for me. When you're dealing with challenging situations, one thing that I encourage you to dig deep and to find is to maintain a sense of humor. Learn to laugh and not take life so seriously. Life can be bumpy, and stress seems unavoidable given the daily hassles we experience, such as waiting times or unpleasant conversations with coworkers, deadlines, or even failed plans. There's no need for a serious situation and skeptic demeanor all the time, and a little bit of humor and playfulness can go a long way to strengthening relationships and boosting happiness levels. It makes me think of this lady I used to work with. She was the most pleasant person I ever met in my life. She never got mad. She was always so nice. She was always so kind, and she had the sweetest voice. And whenever the office was in a bad mind state or everybody was in a bad mood, Miss Sharon, she would talk, and just her voice calmed everybody down. And she would always tell a joke, and she would get us laughing. And, you know, we would laugh for about 5 or 10 minutes and kind of get out of that negative space. And once you add a little bit of humor in life, it will deflate a lot of that negativity in your life. Because life is funny. God has a weird sense of humor. It's just, are our eyes open enough to recognize that sense of humor when it's slapping us in the face? The next thing we need to be cognizant of is to be kind to yourself. We often tend to beat ourselves up when things don't go the way we planned. This cycle of self-criticism and ignoring the pain we feel seldom makes us feel any better. Compare this with how you treat a friend with love, kindness, encouragement when they face failures. Why are we kinder to others, but we beat ourselves up so much? If you don't hear anything else that I say today, you deserve to like yourself. You deserve to love yourself. And we're going to be talking about self-love. It's not selfish for you to take yourself out for a nice meal or buy yourself a nice outfit or to, splurge on yourself every now and then. Because you work hard, you deserve to do something nice for you, especially if you are the person in your family or in your world or in your circle that does for everybody else. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you doing something nice and being kind to yourself. Another thing is persistence is key. While everyone adapts differently to a challenge or an adverse situation, one rule that holds true for everyone is that it's never too late to get back on track to achieve your goals and avoid the temptation of giving up. Guys, whether you want to start a business or whether you want to, solidify a relationship, whatever it is you have going on in your life, you got to be persistent and you got to go after what you want. Now, if for some reason that person says no to the offer that you make, I always will believe that they don't KNOW no enough to say yes. And it's your job, it's your responsibility to get that other person on board. And if they reject that offer the second time or even the third time and you just aren't making any headway with them, then you know to step back, to keep moving, but don't take it personally because, they may not truly have a full understanding of what you're offering. But don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on things that you want. And most importantly, stop giving up on yourself. And remember that happiness is a journey, not a destination. You may have noticed how accomplishing goals makes us happy, but only for a limited time. As we then move on to the pursuit of happiness in the form of that next milestone, it's important to take the time to pause and smell the roses along the way. Navigating through life gets easier when we view happiness as a choice. We can make consciously and cultivating happy habits that can raise our well-being levels in a consistent manner. Remain thoughtful, kind, and gracious, and most of all, humble. Difficult times warrant the need for human kindness more than ever, and it helps to treat others the same way we want to be treated. Expressing thankfulness, saying please and thank you. That's something that seems like Chinese nowadays. People don't say thank you. That entitlement behavior, that mindset, it drives me absolutely crazy. We're going to be talking about that on future episodes. When you mess up, take accountability. Apologize and be genuine with your apology. Compliment others without an agenda. If your woman looks good today, tell her she looks good and not expect anything from her. Ladies, if your man did something, nice for you or for the house or to make your life easier, give him a little bit of props. Make him feel good about it. Offering support and encouragement in times of need strengthens connections with others. And finally, just devise and uphold your personal boundaries. Personal boundaries are a measure of self-esteem and help ensure that you aren't vulnerable to being used and mistreated by others around you. And most importantly, not being disrespected. Devising and establishing clear, strong boundaries in place helps foster trust and loyalty, thereby strengthening relationships. Healthy boundaries are not just about being able to express your views, needs, certainly, but are also helpful for navigating through life in a more efficient manner. With that being said, we're going to take a break for a couple minutes. We'll be back in 2 minutes to dig even deeper into today's topic. Be right back.
Here we go. It's time to vote. Your health care is on the ballot. Your right to vote. Abortion rights, it's all on the ballot. So if you want an economy that works for all of us, if you want to lower the cost of living, if you want a president that puts us first, then you have to vote. Go to iwillvote.com to find your voting place and go vote. Stand up for your community. Protect your rights. Bring someone along with you. Our vote is how we make change. Right here at home, every vote counts. You have the power. Don't give that power away. Voting is quick and it's easy. Vote early. Vote today. Kamala for president. A new way forward. Kamala Harris. For the people.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Sunday's just got a whole lot better. Get ready for a weekly boost of motivation and inspiration right here on 97.3 FM and streaming at www.theheat973.com. Introducing Just a Thought, your new go-to show for empowering ideas and strategies to unleash your best. I'm your host, Jeff Spates, and I can't wait to connect with you every Sunday from 10 to 11. From overcoming challenges to achieving your dreams, we'll dive into the powerful thoughts that can transform your life. Because with just a thought, a little inspiration can go a long way. So tune in, turn it up, and get ready to kickstart your week with purpose. Just a Thought with Jeff Spates, Sunday at 10 on 97.3 FM and streaming at www.theheat973.com. See you there.
.3 FM is sponsored by Gun Lake Casino.
Do you ever walk into a place and just know? Score big at 131 Sports Bar and Lounge. Place bets, catch Detroit football watch parties, and book VIP tailgate experiences. Right time, right place, right around the corner. GLC, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Gun Lake Casino. Come to play. Must be 21 or older. Gamble responsibly. Dine in only. Other restrictions may apply. See Reward Center for details.
Gun Lake Casino.
Welcome back to Just a Thought. I'm your host, Jeff Spates, and we're talking about self-care, self-love, resilience, all of this motivational stuff. And the next thing I wanted to kind of touch upon, in this next segment is talking about quality relationships and self-care. A good life means nurturing quality relationships with loved ones, nurturing quality relationships with our friends and with our community. We all deserve to experience love, and I'm talking about that unconditional love. It's easy to find love with conditions. You get love when you're doing stuff for people. But what about those relationships, that unconditional love from somebody that actually just loves you just because of who you are? We all deserve to experience love. We all deserve to feel like we belong somewhere, and we all deserve to feel like we are supported. And we can't forget about our physical and mental health. Are we taking care of our bodies? Are you eating right? Are you exercising? Or are you falling into a trap like too much drinking, eating, too much smoking? Is stress and pressure closing in on you? We get fired up by a song, we get motivated by the Word of God, and we leave this show feeling good, but that spiritual fuel only carries us so far. The more we face drama and challenges, the more it chips away at our spirituality. That's why a good life means making time for personal growth. You deserve to be the best version of yourself, not just for your friends or family or others, but mainly you deserve to have that for you and for yourself. The next thing we need to try to rein in to help create this good life that we want is to have the ability to be resilient and to show appreciation. So what steps are you taking to be better than you were yesterday? Are you learning something new? Did you start a new workout routine? What are you changing in your life to get different results? Because to have a good life, you must be resilient. When things fall apart, you've got to find that inner strength to keep on going, to keep pushing, to keep on keeping on. Because keeping a positive outlook during the tough times, that's a key ingredient for a good life. And let's not forget to appreciate the simple things. A beautiful sunset. The fact that you got out of bed this morning. The fact that, you have air in your lungs, you have food to eat, you have a place to sleep, you have a job to go to. When we focus on all the blessings we already have, doesn't that mean we're experiencing a good life in some way? What about the laughter of little kids? The smile on someone's face when they see you? These are all signs of a life well lived. I recently attended a funeral of a mother of a friend of mine. And what's amazing about funerals is the things that people say about you when you're gone. And even though I didn't know my friend's mother very well, when I heard the different testimonies and the different, communications about how this lady lived her life, I couldn't help but to feel like I had known her. I couldn't help but to feel connected to her. It's amazing to hear what people say about you when you pass. If you really have lived a good life and really had an impact on somebody, when they say that you were a good man or that you were a good woman, when you're at your funeral, that lets you know that you had some kind of impact on another person's life and that your life was well lived. We need to stop taking the little things for granted, though, folks. Appreciate a sunset or a sunrise. Appreciate that good Sunday dinner that you're going to have later on today. Appreciate that woman in your life or that man in your life. That ride or die person who's with you when everybody else turns their back from you. Appreciate the fact that you still have good sense and that you can still do for yourself. All of these are little things that you can take the time and thank God for. Now, I'm not trying to get extra spiritual or extra religious or sound preachery at any point. But until we take the time to recognize the things that we have and show a true appreciation for it, if we don't show appreciation, won't that block our blessing? Won't that keep us from getting all of the things that we want, all of the things that we deserve? Add a little appreciation into your life. The next thing we need to look at is money, generosity, and integrity. Now, money can be a gateway to do almost anything you want, but people get so caught up in who has money, wanting to live a certain life, that doesn't mean you're living a good life. I've heard so many well-to-do people say, I got all the money in the world, the finest homes, the biggest car, or the nicest cars. They can travel all over the world, but they're miserable because they don't have that solid circle around them to share those things with. We've all heard that money is the root of all evil. And social media proves that true every day. Just because you're rich financially doesn't mean you're not poor in other areas of your life. I'd love to have a boatload of money, but if it's going to distract me, if it's going to jeopardize my peace, then I've got to reconsider. At this stage in my life, I prefer to be comfortable, and anything else is a blessing. And being able to be generous, make a difference one person at a time, that's a key to a good life. Do you have a talent to share? Do you have something that you can give back to another? Giving to others helps you live a good life because you're giving a piece of yourself. And as we started out this episode talking about, we're all basically good people. So when you're able to share your knowledge or your experience, especially the older people sharing it with the next generation or the younger generation. Younger people, if you're listening to the show, don't be like your counterparts. Listen to what older people have to say. We have some good things to say. Like my mama used to say, I'm not going to tell you anything wrong. Be open-minded and willing to learn. Living with integrity, even when it's hard, that's a characteristic of a good life. Now, we're all going to make mistakes. We're going to do people wrong. We're going to tell lies. We're going to fall we're going to do things that aren't necessarily God's will or God's way. But accountability matters. When you mess up, acknowledge that mess up. As I said earlier, if you do somebody wrong, apologize and be genuine with your apology. Your apology means absolutely nothing if it doesn't come from the heart. If we admit our faults and make things right when we've wronged someone, that's a step towards being a good person. Being known as an honest person, being known as a respectful person and a person with integrity, even when it's hard, sets you apart from 95% of the other people. But it's those little things that I am challenging you to incorporate into your lives every day, even when you don't want to do it. So the question is, when nobody else is looking, what kind of person are you? Do you like yourself? Would you like yourself? Look in the mirror and ask yourself that this week. Another thing that we need to take a look at is balance, self-love, and caring for ourselves. A good life doesn't mean working 80 hours a week and then going to sleep. It means finding that work-life balance. When you're at work, be present, do your best. But when you're off the clock, leave the job at the job. Too often we bring our work home and it affects those around us. I want to hear about your day, but not every day, not every conversation. We forget how to have a balance. Having a balance also means doing what you want to do when you're not working. So that means taking a short road trip. Go running a marathon. If you're handy, do some projects around the house. You deserve time for you. You deserve time to explore other interests, and that's how you become a more well-rounded person. And finally, we've got to give ourselves some love, grace, focus on our inner peace. We've got to stop beating ourselves up over the flaws. Kick that negative self-talk to the curb and learn to love who we are. We are all good people, and we, you, me, us, we are good enough just the way we are. And with that said, we're going to take one final break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
This program comes to you by the Community Voice La Voz magazine, administrated by Dr. Jose Flores, editor-in-chief. You can find him at 1052 Granville Avenue, Southwest New Michigan. You can reach him at 616-581-6271. Gracias, Jose.
97.3 FM is sponsored by Kamala Harris for President.
Papá.
Sí, mija.
Desde que era niña, siempre me he sentido segura a tu lado.
Ahí siempre estaré.
Bueno, sé que te gusta Donald Trump.
Ay, mija.
Pero ¿ves cómo insulta a los inmigrantes? Hombres como tú. Nos falta el respeto. Mira lo que le hizo a los derechos de las mujeres. ¿Y si gana otra vez? ¿Cómo será mi futuro entonces? Papá, te necesito a mi lado.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Pagado por Harris for President.
Funding for 97.3 FM is provided in part by La Familia Stop and Shop, located at 1066 Cesar E. Chavez Avenue Southwest, providing groceries, convenience, and libations to local community.
And we're back. Thanks for joining us here at Just a Thought. I'm your host, Jeff Spates. And we're talking about resilience and creating a good life. Building resilience is about learning to bounce back from life's toughest moments. It's a skill anyone can develop, and it's key to handling challenges with confidence. Here are some reasons why resilience is important. Number one, adapting to change. Life is full of unexpected events and things that we have to transition into. Resilient people are able to adapt to changes and navigate the uncertainty when it comes. Yes, we don't like when things change, but if the easier we try to adapt to it, the better off we ultimately are going to be. Another thing we need to do is bounce back from adversity. Everyone faces some kind of challenge or setback or roadblock one time or another. Resilience is about being able to bounce back from these difficult experiences, learn from these experiences, and grow and thrive and get to where we want to be from those experiences. We also need to maintain our well-being. Resilient people are better able to take care of their physical and mental well-being, even when they're faced with stressful situations. You also have to build strong relationships. Resilience involves effective communication and problem-solving skills, which are key to forming and maintaining healthy relationships. When we achieve goals, resilient people are able to persist in the face of obstacles, and they stay committed to their goals. They see it to the end. And then finding opportunities and challenges. When we're faced with one challenge or another, those with high resilience can reframe the challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. The only way for us to truly be the best that we can be is we got to face these challenges. That's the only way that we can grow. So what are some examples of resilient situations that we have to deal with? Are you starting a new job? Do you have to have an uncomfortable or difficult conversation with someone? Are you dealing with health issues? Are you dealing with financial stress? Did you just move and you're adapting to the move? Are you dealing with difficult coworkers? Did you just lose a loved one? Did you just lose a pet? Are you managing a heavy workload at home and at work and both, and you're everything to everybody, but no one's anything to you? Are you coping with overcoming a natural disaster, a hurricane or earthquake? Now, not necessarily this part of the country, but here in Georgia, in my home state, we just had a couple hurricanes come through. There are people that are struggling. But understanding the resilience differs from simply being strong in several key ways. Strength implies the absence of vulnerability. If you're willing to put your heart on the line, that shows really a sign of strength. Resilience, on the other hand, acknowledges that challenges are difficult and they're a natural part of life. It is about being able to adapt and recover in the faces of stress. Strength can involve very rigid perseverance. Resilience involves flexibility and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. You can't live your life in tunnel vision. You got to be flexible enough to kind of go with the flow. It's about finding ways to navigate challenges rather than just trying to power through them. Strength focuses on individual effort. Resilience recognizes the importance of support from others. It involves building strong relationships and seeking help when needed. Resilience also differs from never experiencing stress. Resilience is not about avoiding challenges. Rather, it's about being able to cope with and recover from difficult experiences and situations. Resilience involves growth and learning. It's about finding ways to adapt and become stronger because you learned how to navigate those challenges. In short, resilience is about adaptability, it's about growth and recovery in the face of a challenge. It involves a combination of skills, attitudes, support that enables us as individuals to navigate these difficulties in a healthy and a constructive way. Building resilience involves a combination of skills and supports. And some of the things that we can do is, like I said earlier, a positive attitude. Having a positive outlook and viewing challenges as opportunities for growth can help in bouncing back from adversity. This involves maintaining hope for the future, practicing gratitude, and reframing difficulties into a positive light. In other words, seeing the glass as half full rather than half empty. Our problem-solving skills where they need to be. Being able to approach challenges in a strategic and proactive way can enhance resilience. This involves identifying problems, brainstorming solutions, and taking action to address difficulties. Having that strong support system, we got to surround ourselves with positive, supportive relationships that, helps us stay away from the adverse situations and stressful situations. This involves building strong connections with others, seeking help when we need it, and contributing to the well-being of those in one's support network. Be careful who you allow in your circle. We got to show self-care, taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and our mental well-being is a foundation for resilience. This involves getting enough rest, engaging in regular physical activity, practicing relaxation techniques, even if that means meditation or yoga. Get your mind right, and seeking professional help when you need it. We also need to be self-aware, we need to understand our thoughts, what we feel, and reactions can help in managing that stress and staying focused on our goals. This involves practicing mindfulness, recognizing triggers and patterns, and developing a growth mindset. Not only do we grow and have to be resilient, we have to be able to have some adaptability. Being able to adapt to changing circumstances is a key part of resilience. This involves being more flexible, being open to new experiences, and being able to pivot when necessary. So I'm challenging you to do something different this week. Don't do what you've always been doing. If you want the same result, you got to do something different if you want to get out of the way. You also got to live your life with a purpose and with a meaning. Having a sense of purpose and meaning can provide direction and motivation, even in the face of obstacles and challenges. This involves connecting with your values, pursuing goals that align with these values, and finding ways to contribute to something larger than yourself. Obviously, when you go through a situation, you learn from experiences. Resilience involves learning and growing from difficult experiences. This involves reflecting on challenges, identifying lessons and areas of improvement, and applying these insights in future situations. Building resilience is an ongoing process that takes time and practice. Everything that I've talked about for this last hour or so, it's not an overnight thing, but I challenge you, if you can try to get better, 1% better today or tomorrow than you were today, you're definitely going to be moving in the right direction. And I don't think that's really hard to do if you truly want to have that good life that we've been talking about. So our final just a thought before we get out of here today is you have a fundamental right to a good life, to genuine happiness, to experiencing wonderful things. This isn't about entitlement. It's about acknowledging your inherent worth. Recognize that you deserve goodness, that joy is meant for you as much as anyone else on this planet. Life won't always hand you what you deserve on a silver platter. There will be obstacles, moments that test your resolve, and moments that push you to the limit. But here's the thing. Your strength is greater than any challenge. When the journey gets rocky, you'll find a resilience within you that you never knew existed. Draw on that power. Embrace the tough times, not because they're easy, but because they're your chance to prove just how much tougher you are. Don't let hardships break you. Let them be the fire that forges you unbreakable spirit. You deserve every ounce of goodness coming your way. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Go out there and claim it. Your good life is waiting for you. Before we go, I want to invite you to get a daily dose of motivation by following me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at Just a Thought, J Spates, that's SPATES 70, or on TikTok at Just a Thought, J Spates 70. Be sure to like, follow, and share. And don't forget to check out my website at www.jeffreyspeaksusa.com. That's www.jeffreyspeaks, that's Jeffrey, Jeffrey, speaksusa.com for more resources and inspiration. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Remember, it's all about navigating the challenges, making good choices, and focusing on what truly matters. Keep your heads up, keep pushing forward, and most importantly, keep your faith. We'll see you next time on Just a Thought next Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're going to be right here talking this good stuff. Have a good week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Peace.
Sunday's just got a whole lot better. Get ready for a weekly boost of motivation and inspiration right here on 97.3 FM and streaming at www.theheat973.com. Introducing Just a Thought, your new go-to show for empowering ideas and strategies to unleash your best. I'm your host, Jeff Spates, and I can't wait to connect with you every Sunday from 10 to 11. From overcoming challenges to achieving your dreams, we'll dive into the powerful thoughts that can transform your life. Because with Just a Thought, a little inspiration can go a long way. So tune in, turn it up, and get ready to kickstart your week with purpose. Just a Thought with Jeff Spates, Sunday at 10 on 97.3 FM and streaming at www.theheat973.com. See you there.